right. Here goes nothing. This was a cell, wasn't it? This wasn't somebody who lived here. There's no way to open the door. There's shackles? Oh, you poor person. That's probably a diary, isn't it? And a bed. Well, let's read your book first. It seems to have a name on it. Avenger Stone Singer. Sit quietly, child, and listen, for the story I tell you is a story of the ages. But what is it, grandfather? Is it a story of heroes and beasts? The grandfather looked patiently at the child. He was growing into a fine boy. Soon he would see the value in the stories, the lessons that were taught to each generation. Just listen, child. Let the story take root in your heart. In a time before now, long before now, when the Skald were new, when there was peace in the land. The sun was hot and the crops grew long, and the people were happy in the peace that the Allmaker provided. But the Skald grew complacent and lazy, and they took for granted the lands and the gifts the Allmaker had given them. They forgot, or choose not to remember, that the adversary is always watching, and that he delights in tormenting the Allmaker and his chosen people. And so it was that the adversary came to be among the Skald. The adversary has many aspects. He appears in the unholy beasts and the incurable plague. At the end of seasons, we will know him as Thartag, the world devourer. But in these ages, he came to be known as the Greedy Man. The Greedy Man, that is what we will call him, for to speak his name would certainly bring ruin on the people. The Greedy Man lived among the Skald for many months. Perhaps he once was just a man, but when the adversary entered into him, he became the Greedy Man, and that is how he is remembered. It came to be one day that the powers of the Skald left them. The strength left the arms of the warriors, and the shaman could no longer summon the beasts to their side. The elders thought surely the Allmaker was displeased, and some suggested that the Allmaker had left them forever. It was then that the Greedy Man appeared to them and spoke. You of the Skald have grown fat and lazy. I have stolen the gifts of your Allmaker. I have stolen the oceans, so you will forever know thirst. I've stolen the lands, and the trees, and the sun, so your crops will wither and die. I have stolen the beasts, so you will go hungry. And I have stolen the winds, so you will live without the spirit of the Allmaker. And until one of you can reclaim these gifts, the Skald will live in misery and despair. For I am the Greedy Man, and that is my nature. And the Greedy Man disappeared. The members of the Skald spoke for days and nights. They knew that one of them must retrieve the gifts of the Allmaker, but they could not decide who it should be. I cannot go, said the elder, for I must stay to lead the Skald and tell our people what is the law. I can't go, said the warrior, for I must protect the Skald. My sword will be needed in case the Greedy Man reappears. I cannot go, said the shaman, for the people need my wisdom. I must read the portents and offer my knowledge. It was then that a young man called Avar lifted his voice. He was strong of arm and fleet of foot, though he was not yet a warrior of the Skald. I will go, said Avar, and the Skald laughed. Hear me out, the boy continued. I'm not yet a warrior, so my sword will not be needed. I cannot read the portents, so the people will not seek my counsel. And I'm young, and not yet wise in the ways of the law. I will retrieve the gifts of the Allmaker from the Greedy Man. If I cannot, I will not be missed. The Skald thought on this briefly, and decided to let Avar go. He left the village the next morning to retrieve the gifts. Avar first set out to retrieve the gift of water, so he traveled to the Waterstone. It was there the Allmaker first spoke to him. Travel west to the sea and follow the swimmer to the waters of life. So Avar walked to the edge of the ocean, and there was the swimmer, a black horker, sent from the Allmaker. The swimmer dove into the waters and swam very far, and far again. Avar was strong, though, and he swam hard. He followed the swimmer to a cave, swimming deeper and deeper, his lungs burning and his limbs exhausted. At last he found a pocket of air, and there in the dark he found the waters of life. Gathering his strength, he took the waters and swam back to the shore. Upon returning to the water stone, the Allmaker spoke. You have returned the gift of water to the skull. The ocean again shall bear fruit, and their thirst will be quenched. Avar then traveled to the earth stone, and there the Allmaker spoke to him again. Enter the cave of the hidden music, and hear the song of the earth. So Avar traveled north and east to the cave of the hidden music. He found himself in a large cavern, where the rocks hung from the ceiling and grew from the ground itself. He listened there, and heard the song of the earth, but it was faint. Grabbing up his mace, he struck the rocks of the floor in time with the song, and the song grew louder, until it filled the cavern and his heart. Then he returned to the earth stone. The gift of the earth is with the skull again, said the Allmaker. The lands are rich again, and will bear life. Avar was tired, as the sun burned him. The trees offered no shade, and there was no wind to cool him. Still, he traveled on to the beast rock, and the Allmaker spoke. Find the good beast, and ease his suffering. Avar traveled through the woods of the Eastfinir for many hours, until he heard the cries of a bear from over a hill. As he crested a hill, he saw the bear, a Falmer's arrow piercing its neck. He checked the woods for the Falmer, for that is what they were, though some say they are not. And finding none, he approached the beast. He spoke soothing words and came upon it slowly, saying, Good beast, I mean you no harm. The Allmaker has sent me to ease your suffering. Hearing these words, the bear ceased his struggles and laid his head at Avar's feet. Avar grasped the arrow and pulled it from the bear's neck. Using the little nature magic he knew, Avar tended the wound, though it took the last bit of his strength. As the bear's wound closed, Avar slept. When he awoke, the bear stood over him, and the remains of a number of the Falmer were strewn about. He knew the good beast had protected him during the night. He traveled back to the beast rock, the bear by his side, and the Allmaker spoke to him again. You have returned the gift of the beasts. Once again, the good beasts will feed the skull when they're hungry, clothe them when they are cold, and protect them in times of need. Avar's strength had returned, so he traveled on to the tree stone, though the good beast did not follow him. When he arrived, the Allfather spoke to him. The first trees are gone and must be replanted. Find the seed and plant the first tree. Avar traveled again through the Herstang forest, searching for the seeds of the first tree, but he could find none. Then he spoke to the tree spirits, the living trees. They told him that the seeds had been stolen by one of the Falmer, for they are the servants of the adversary. And this Falmer was hiding them deep in the forest, so that none would ever find them. Avar traveled to the deepest part of the forest, and there he found the evil Falmer, surrounded by the lesser tree spirits. Avar could see that the spirits were in his thrall, that he had used the magic of the seeds and spoken their secret name. Avar knew he could not stand against such a force, and that he must retrieve the seeds in secret. Ooh, Khajiit likes that plan. Avar reached into his pouch and drew out his flint. Gathering leaves, he started a small fire outside the clearing, where the Falmer and the ensorcelled spirits milled. All the Skull know the spirits' hatred of fires, for the fires ravage the trees they serve. At once, the nature of the spirits took hold, and they rushed to quell the flames. During the commotion, Avar snuck behind the Falmer and snatched the pouch of seeds, stealing away before the evil being knew they were gone. When Avar returned to the tree stone, he planted the tree in the ground, and the Allmaker spoke to him. The gift of trees is restored. Once again, the trees and plants will bloom and grow and provide nourishment and shade. Avar was tired, for the sun would only burn and the winds would not yet cool him, but he rested briefly in the shade of the trees. His legs were weary and his eyes heavy, but he continued on, traveling to the sunstone. Again, the Allmaker spoke. The gentle warmth of the sun is stolen, so now it only burns. Free the sun from the halls of penumbra. And so Avar walked west over the frozen lands until he reached the halls of penumbra. The air inside was thick and heavy, and he could see no farther than the end of his arm. Still, he felt his way along the walls, though he heard the shuffling of feet, and knew that this place held the unholy beasts who would tear his flesh and eat his bones. For hours he crept along, until he saw a faint glow at the far end of the hall. There, from behind a sheet of perfect ice, came a glow so bright he had to shut his eyes, lest they be forever blinded. He plucked the flaming eye from one of the unholy beasts and threw it at the ice with all his might. A small crack appeared in the ice, then grew larger. Slowly the light crept out between the cracks, widening them, splitting the ice wall into pieces. With a deafening crack the wall crumbled, and the light rushed over Avar and through the halls. He heard the shrieks of the unholy beasts as they were blinded and burned. He ran out of the halls, following the light, and collapsed on the ground outside. When he was able to rise again, the sun again warmed him, and he was glad for that. He traveled back to the Sunstone, where the Allmaker spoke to him. The gift of the sun is Skal's once again. It will warm them and give them light. Avar had one final gift he had to recover, the gift of the winds, so he traveled to the Windstone, far on the western coast of the island. When he arrived, the Allmaker spoke to him, giving him his final task. Find the greedy man and release the wind from its captivity. So Avar wandered the land in search of the greedy man. He looked in the trees, but the greedy man did not hide there. Nor did he hide near the oceans or the deep caves, and the beast had not seen him in the dark forests. Finally, Avar came to a crooked house, and he knew that here he would find the greedy man. "Who are you," shouted the greedy man, "that you would come to my house?" "I'm Avar of the Skal," said Avar. "I'm not a warrior, shaman, or elder. If I do not return, I will not be missed. But I have returned the oceans and the earth, the trees, the beasts, and the sun. And I will return the winds to my people, that we may feel the spirit of the Allmaker in our souls again." And with that, he grabbed up the greedy man's bag and tore it open. The winds rushed out with gale force, sweeping up the greedy man, up and carrying him off, far from the island. Avar breathed in the winds and was glad. He walked back to the Windstone, where the Allmaker spoke to him a final time. "You have done well, Avar. You, the least of the Skal, have returned my gifts to them. The greedy man is gone for now, and should not trouble your people again in your lifetime. Your Allmaker is pleased. Go now and live according to your nature." And Avar started back to the Skal village. "And then what happened, grandfather?" "What do you mean, child? He went home." "No, when he returned to the village," the child continued. "Was he made a warrior, or taught the ways of the shaman? Did he lead the Skal in battle?" "I do not know. That is where the story ends," said the grandfather. "But that's not an ending. That's not how stories end." The old man laughed and got up from his chair. "Is it not?" Khajiit liked that story. She was thinking it was a diary, but that was a cool story. That's a very old potato. So I guess that wasn't a diary. Oh, some nice, ingredients. Khajiit's not going to take that skull because it's still associated with his remains, and no, that would be kind of rude, she thinks. Well, Khajiit is sorry she does not know who you are. That she thought the book would tell you her name, or tell her your name. Khajiit is having trouble speaking, but it didn't. "I'm sorry, I can't officially report your death to anyone. I'm so sorry. Well. Okay. Let's just... That isn't the best of maps. This magic map, you know, sometimes it works very nicely and other times it's, well, not so good. Maybe Khajiit should have you start drawing maps as we go along, and Khajiit suspects that you or Rander will make much better maps. At least better than the interior ones the magic map makes. Anyway. Alright. That's a coffin over there, isn't it? You know what? Just in case. She can't see anything, but... Oh. This always takes so long to... be ready. Nope. Nobody home. Or if they are home, Khajiit has failed to cast the spell on the right location. Khajiit doesn't think she has a ton of alchemy ingredients on her. She has some. But she doesn't really need any potions at the moment, so... Is there any ingredients on the table that Khajiit... No. Okay. Well, that one's open, but that one's not. Oh, it was open. That's why there's nobody home. That's why the thingy did not work. Just in case. Although, you guys are rather close, it might actually hurt you. Khajiit was forgetting that. Yeah, she'll have to be careful. And listen. So what, we got... okay. Yeah, Huh? Oh. You set off a trap. And you apparently had enough blood in you to make it, You must be... How could you be a new Draugr? All the Draugrs are thousands of years old, aren't they? Khajiit is not sure now. How it came to be that a Draugr... Oh, maybe somebody else who did have blood died there before. And the Draugr just went there after the fact? Yeah, something like that. Let's put one right here. And we're going to put one kind of in the center because we can't really tell if there's a gate or a doorway in the area there. But that will do to discourage sneakings upon Khajiit. Alright. I wonder why the Draugr was trying to get in there. Because if there was a person trying to get in there and they both died, you would think there's a body there. Or, Khajiit's not sure. Maybe the Draugr was carrying a pot of blood and dropped it when he set off the trap. Maybe. Almost. A wooden plate. Well, this is just a little underwhelming for being behind a door that was locked. I mean, it was a hard door to unlock, but, you know, still. Oh, she got a little confused. She thought that was a new doorway and she hadn't protected it, but no, that was the way we came. Okay, no need for that. She had oh. Okay. Right. Oh! Where are you going? Oh! He's... You okay? Quadojo!
A healing spell. If body language speaks eloquently, I hope my vigor expresses the proper amount of thanks.
It does, Quadojo. Oh. That was a tough one. Khajiit would have liked to collect it with the bow, but... Oh! Look at that. Look at that bow. Khajiit likes it. Khajiit likes it. Wow. That was a... Have we fought one that hard before? A lot of arrows. Good arrows, too. Dwarven arrows. And he didn't know I was there at first, and Khajiit was still... He hardly even noticed. He hardly staggered. I wonder if you would give a greater soul gem. Like to fill, I mean. Would you? Maybe even a grand? Oh. Khajiit wishes she hadn't had to resort to magic. Maybe she should make a bow with a longer soul capture spell time thingy on it. That might be a good idea. Wow. Actually, is that bow? How much better is it? So where's Khajiit's there we are. And it is it looks like you'll be able to pull it a little harder, a little further. That's gonna do a little more damage. Khajiit's gonna have to enchant that. Yes. Khajiit will have to do that. Oh, look at that chest. Look at that chest. Careful, there might be more than... There's... What are you doing down here? There is no sunlight to speak of. Nah, nothing up here. Yeah, well. Khajiit had hoped. There's we're close to the exit. Well, she thinks it's the exit. That leads down to where the Queen of Mareth was. The door we first came in. Khajiit thinks. At least that's her theory. That's her theory. And there's another door? Can Khajiit look down without falling? Yeah. Khajiit really can't tell if that's the same place or not. Well, it might be. But if we jump down there, we're not coming back up at the moment, so we're not going to do that just yet. Oops. That was a failed jump. If Khajiit ever did one. Oh, look at this. It's all tilted. Upheavals of the earth. Oh, chest. Wow. Yeah, no wonder you're on your head, turned over. Here's a question. Are we missing areas where there's Droger priests? Because if it's the Droger priests that keep reanimating these guys, then where's the Droger priest that lives here? Do they, like, travel around at night? Or something? Oh. Not sure. Okay. No traps, rather? Oh. Ooh, pretty nice. Yes! Yes! A filled Grand Soul Gem. Awesome. Oh, and nice money? That's a nice chest. Khajiit liked the contents of that chest. Khajiit is rich! Woohoo! Well, at least until she spends it all on spells, anyway. Well, we're rich, because Khajiit will raise your pay. I mean, you're kind of with Khajiit because you want to be, and she does give you money and pay you, but I guess you really shouldn't call it pay, because it makes it sound like it's a job, and you're just here because of that. Well, she likes to think they're her friends. You guys are Khajiit's friends, yes? Yes. Okay. So it looks like... Yeah, not so good. Not such a good map. It looks like that is our exit. Khajiit's going to put Featherfall on. She would recommend you guys jump on the cross beams. I guess if she jumps on the cross beams herself, she doesn't need Featherfall. Oh! Unless she slips and falls. Then of course she will need it. Yes, this is... That was the queen. Well, Khajiit will meet you guys at the entrance. Does that sound like a plan? Or not? Who? Oh, Quadojo. Khajiit should have known you'd come down. Irander, are you going to come down too? If not, we can meet you at the outside. If you want to take the other exit. Or I guess technically the entrance. Since this appears like it was the exit. Oh, there you are. Khajiit didn't hear you jump down. Alright. Well, it is nice well, reasonably warm in here. And it is getting on to evening. You know what, guys? Let's just set up camp. This is actually fairly nice right here. let's just set up camp for the night. Have a good night's sleep. And I guess we have to head out in the morning and go back. Yeah, I guess we'll go back to Dawnstar. We will give the report about the Queen of Mareth to Master Arniel. Give him those cogs that he wanted. And, yeah. And then, Khajiit thinks we're gonna go visit, no, just check her journal. Yes. It was Helgen. She thought it was. She started to say the name, but she just wanted to double check. We're gonna go to Helgen and see if we can do anything to help avert this war between the Stormcloaks and the Imperials. Khajiit thinks that would be a good idea. You guys agree? Excellent. Well, if you guys wanna... Khajiit's gonna have supper, actually. You guys, perchance, might want to do the same thing. And a Horker loaf. That sounds excellent. And she's going to celebrate with nothing because she has no alcohol on her. Okay, she thought she had a Nord mead or something like that. But she apparently does not. So she's going to have an apple pie instead. Or she probably would have had the apple pie anyway, but it is a whole pie, so you guys have to help her eat it. Ah, lovely. Well, Khajiit thinks we had a very good day. Do you guys know any card games? Say, Khajiit is curious. Did you like her video? Yes? Then please click the thumbs up button. Khajiit thanks you. Brrr.